So I was thinking, Rick, what if they finally made a Nightmare Before Christmas sequel?
No, bad. Don't even finish the thought.
Why not? It's been, 30 years? Feels like it's time.
Yeah, time for disappointment. You think you're gonna get another handcrafted stop-motion fever dream, and instead you get Jack Skellington doing TikTok dances in front of a green screen.
Come on, man, they could still make it cool. What if they explored, the other holiday doors?
Oh yeah, sure, let's go see Arbor Day Town. Real riveting stuff. What's the plot? Jack gets into a moral dilemma over deforestation.
Could be deep. Could be about environmentalism.
Joe, that's not Nightmare Before Christmas. That's a Captain Planet PSA with better lighting.
Okay, so what would you do for a sequel?
Nothing. We already got the perfect spiritual sequel. Corpse Bride. Same creepy chic stop motion, same sad skeleton aesthetic, but without nuking the original's mystique. It's like the Burton Cinematic Universe's art house cousin.
Dude, Corpse Bride isn't even connected to Nightmare Before Christmas.
Exactly. That's why it works. You get the vibes, the music, the weird skeletal dance moves, but no one's dragging poor Jack out of retirement for a cash grab. It's like visiting the same neighborhood without stalking your ex.
You really think a sequel would be that bad?
Joe, Disney owns it now. Do the math. We're one bad boardroom meeting away from Nightmare Before Christmas 2. Jack meets the Avengers.
Laughs. Okay, yeah, I wouldn't want that.
Look, the original ended perfectly. Jack learned his lesson. Christmas went back to normal. And Zero's still the best ghost dog in cinema. Sometimes you leave the party while it's still fun.
That's a weird analogy for movies.
Yeah, well, so is wanting to dig up a 30-year-old skeleton and make it sing again.
Fair. All right, Corpse Bride it is. But if they ever make a sequel, I'm bringing you on here to eat crow.
Fine, but I'll only eat it if it's stop motion.
So, I've been thinking, man, the Fallout TV show, is it actually good for the games, or is it kind of robbing the series of what could have been future storylines?
I'm leaning toward good, honestly. Think about it. Fallout's been around forever, but most people only knew it as this quirky post-apocalyptic RPG. Now, you got millions of people who never touched the game suddenly curious. That's good for the brand.
Sure, but here's my problem. Fallout is supposed to be this playground for stories. Every new game, new vaults, new factions, new angles on the apocalypse. The show's already covering huge ground, vaults, Brotherhood, NCR, all the greatest hits. And I'm like, man, aren't they burning through material that could have been saved for a game?
Maybe, but Bethesda hasn't exactly been using all their material lately. I mean, Fallout 76 tried, but that was like the weird cousin at Thanksgiving. You love them, but you don't really trust them with anything important.
True, but here's the thing. A game is interactive. It's about me deciding if I want to be a saint or a psycho cannibal. That's Fallout. When you turn it into TV, you're giving their canon version, which kind of locks things in. Like once the show says this is what happened, suddenly the games feel boxed in.
I get that, but the show isn't canon to the games, or at least it doesn't have to be. It can run parallel, like Witcher 3 exists just fine alongside the Netflix show.
Yeah, but Witcher's based on books first. Fallout's always been make your own story. The show risks setting a definitive tone, like Fallout's dark comedy versus tragedy thing. What if they lean too hard into one? Then future games feel pressured to match that.
But flip it. What if it inspires them? You get new fans, more money, more reason to take risks. If the show nails a vibe, maybe the games go bolder instead of safer.
Or the opposite. Maybe the show's so big, the games just chase it. Suddenly, Fallout feels like an adaptation of its own show.
Look, man, bottom line, I think the TV show widens the door. You might lose a little mystery, but you gain attention, and attention is the one currency that guarantees another Fallout game will happen.
I'll give you that. The show might guarantee we actually get Fallout 5 before I die, but I still think they're taking too many story beats that could have been epic quests instead of episode 6.
So what you're saying is, you're just jealous the NPCs on TV got better dialogue than the ones in Fallout 4?
Exactly. I'm sitting here like, wow, this random TV scribe sounds more human than Preston Garvey ever did.
Another settlement needs your support, Joe.
God, don't start. You know what cracks me up? These dudes who are like, I protect my home with my gun. Like, that's their whole personality.
Yeah, man, they act like the suburbs are some kind of war zone. Like they're defending the last outpost in a zombie movie.
Exactly. And I'm like, bro, nobody cares about your house. Nobody's trying to raid your 2-bedroom split level in the cul-de-sac. The only intruder you're getting is the Amazon guy dropping off your new scope.
Or a raccoon digging through your trash, which honestly puts up more of a fight than they'd expect.
Right. These guys talk like every night is going to be this big standoff. Like, if somebody breaks in, I'll be ready. And then what? Half of them can't even get up without their knees cracking. They're fumbling around in the dark, looking for their glasses before they even find the gun.
Not to mention, the hero fantasy never lines up with reality. They imagine themselves moving tactically, room by room. In reality, they're tripping over a laundry basket and putting a hole in the wall.
Yeah, the only thing you've neutralized is your own drywall. Congratulations, soldier.
And they treat it like this makes them more interesting. Like, I'm the protector of my domain. Dude, you're basically a nightlight with a trigger.
That's it. You're just a human nightlight, just sitting there, humming in the corner, waiting for something that's not going to happen.
And loud about it too. Nightlights don't brag.
And here's the kicker. If you really wanted to protect your home, there's like 10 other ways. Get a dog, lock your doors, don't tell Facebook when you're on vacation. You don't need to live like John Wick waiting for Act 1 to start.
Meanwhile, the people actually living life, they're gardening, cooking, traveling, learning stuff. These guys are like, nope, my hobby is waiting for a break-in that'll never come.
Which, if you think about it, is basically LARPing, just sad, lonely LARPing. It's role-playing soldier without the fun.
And the funniest thing? If something ever did happen, they'd probably freeze up.
Exactly. It's like the people who talk the loudest about being ready are always the least ready. The guy who actually is prepared, he doesn't brag about it. He just quietly has a plan.
These guys, though, they think a burglar's gonna walk in, the theme music kicks on, and suddenly they're in Die Hard.
But nah, man, reality is you chasing a raccoon in your underwear at 2 a.m. with a flashlight. That's your movie.
You know what the new rage bait tactic is, Joe? Just calling people poor. That's it. Doesn't matter what the topic is, video games, sneakers, streaming services, they just go, oh, you don't like this? You must be poor.
That's the whole argument?
Yeah, it's the laziest debate ender ever. You could be talking about a broken mechanic in a game, and someone will just jump in like, skill issue. Also, you're broke.
That's wild. So we've gone past actually addressing anything, and it's just your wallet's lighter than mine, therefore you lose.
Exactly. It's like a shortcut to get people mad, because nobody wants to be called poor, even if they are, so it guarantees a reaction. People start defending themselves, posting receipts, flexing stuff just to prove they're not broke. And boom, the bait worked.
So instead of having an argument, it's basically just a class warfare trigger.
Right. People used to argue mechanics, features, value. Now it's shut up, you're broke.
It's kind of genius in a dumb way. Like, imagine if Socrates was debating and some guy just went, shut up, you're poor. History would have ended right there.
Yeah, the whole Western canon stops because some Athenian troll called him broke.
The sad part is people take the bait. Like, instead of saying that's not an argument, they start listing their income like it's a stat sheet. No, bro, I make 6 figures. I could buy 10 of those. Congratulations. You just played yourself.
Exactly. The only real way to win is to not engage, but nobody does that online.
So the new meta is no matter what you say, someone calls you broke. And if you respond, you lost.
That's the rage bait endgame.
Rick, I've been thinking about this. We've got probiotics, we've got antibiotics, but what exactly is a biotic? Like, what's the base thing here? Nobody taught me that in school. They just handed us yogurt commercials and prescriptions and said, figure it out.
Yeah, biotic by itself never really comes up.
Right, but shouldn't it? If I'm pro or anti something, shouldn't I at least know what the thing is first? It's like someone asking, are you pro lava or anti lava? And you're like, hold on, can I at least see some lava before I take a stance?
That's fair.
Because probiotics sound healthy, they're in yogurt, kombucha, all that stuff. Antibiotics sound powerful, they fight infections. But somewhere in the middle is just biotic. And that guy's never in the conversation. He's probably just sitting there like, why does everyone keep taking sides about me? I'm just existing, man.
Like the forgotten middle child.
Exactly. Biotic is the middle child of medicine. And here we are, constantly swinging between pro and anti. We don't even know if Biotic wanted us to pick a side. What if Biotic doesn't need defending or fighting? What if Biotic's just chilling, being the baseline of life?
So are you pro or anti?
That's the problem. I don't know. If I say I'm probiotic, do I have to eat a bucket of yogurt every day like it's my patriotic duty? If I say I'm antibiotic, am I committing a war crime against penicillin? And if I just say I'm neutral biotic, people are going to look at me like I'm dodging jury duty.
Neutral biotic does sound suspicious.
Yeah, like I'm plotting something. This man claims he's neutral, but we saw him with a bottle of kefir last week, and then they put me on a list.
A gut health watch list.
Exactly. So before I buy anything with biotic slapped on the label, I need someone to sit me down and give me the real definition. What is biotic? Is it life itself? Is it the bacteria? Is it me? Because if it's me, then being antibiotic means I'm literally anti myself. And that being probiotic means I'm just cheering in the mirror like some motivational speaker. Rick, I got to get something off my chest. I've been replaying Resident Evil 5, and man, it's just, ugh.
Oh boy, here we go. What's the problem, Joe? Too much punching boulders?
That's part of it. But no, listen, Resident Evil 4 was this perfect blend of horror and action, right? Creepy villages, terrifying enemies, real tension.
Yeah, nothing says tense horror, like stopping dead in your tracks just to point your pistol. It's like the game punishes you for trying to aim.
Exactly. And don't get me started on the AI partner, Sheva. When you're not playing co-op, she just wastes ammo, stands in your line of fire, and somehow eats more healing items than you ever get to use.
Oh yeah, classic. It's like babysitting a toddler with a rocket launcher.
And the tone shift, man. Suddenly Chris Redfield is a full-on action hero, literally punching a giant boulder in a volcano like he's auditioning for the Avengers.
Hey, don't knock the boulder punch, Joe. That's the peak of human evolution right there. Forget zombies. Forget bioweapons. The real virus was protein powder.
Yeah, Chris spends the whole game less scared of monsters and more afraid of running out of way shakes.
But seriously, Joe, what did you expect? By the time a series hits its 5th entry, it's either reinventing itself or spiraling into chaos. Resident Evil 5 did both at the same time.
Yeah, I know. It's just frustrating. I wanted the atmosphere of 4, but instead I got a Michael Bay's Zombie Safari.
Michael Bay's Zombie Safari? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Explosions everywhere, zombies with AKs, and Chris Redfield cosplaying as Rambo.
And yet somehow I can't stop playing it. I hate it, but I love it.
That's the true horror, Joe. Not the zombies, not the bioweapons. It's being stuck in an endless loop of replaying a game you can't stand.
Rick, I gotta ask, in all your travels across universes, like playing games and stealing consoles, whatever, what are the video game sins you think have to stop?
Oh geez, Joe, where do I start? Number 1 with a plasma bullet. Turret sections. Nothing kills the pacing of a game like suddenly being strapped into a rusty space gun and told, hey, shoot waves of identical ships for 10 minutes. It's lazy design, Joe. Pure filler.
Yeah, it's like, congratulations, you've unlocked a worse version of the gameplay you were already enjoying.
Exactly. It's like pausing a movie for a commercial. I don't need my first-person shooter turning into a carnival ride.
All right, turret sections are out. What's next?
Another big one. Hiding important story details in audio logs or random documents. I shouldn't have to dig through 10 scraps of paper in the diary of some guy named Steve to understand the plot.
Yeah, games where you can miss the entire backstory because you didn't pick up a glowing notebook in the corner of a sewer.
Right, and don't get me wrong, optional lore is great, but when the main villain's motivation is tucked into an audio log you can skip, that's not storytelling, that's homework.
So, turret sections and lore logs, what else is on the chopping block?
Forced walking sections. The devs want to make something cinematic, so they make you stroll behind an NPC while they dump exposition at you. And if you walk too fast, the character just stops talking, like a broken audiobook.
Oh yeah, the listen to me talk while we slowly walk through this hallway move, absolute momentum killer.
Exactly, I'm playing a game, not going on a Sunday stroll with sad robot dad.
Okay, so turret sections, lore logs, and forced walking. Anything else?
Yeah, fake choices. You know, where the game pretends you have agency, but no matter what button you press, the outcome's the same. Do you want to save the village or burn it down? And then 5 minutes later, the village burns anyway.
Yeah, that's just a long way of saying, this is a cutscene, sit down and shut up.
Exactly. If you're gonna give me a choice, make it matter. Otherwise, stop wasting my time.
So, your commandments are no turrets, no required homework logs, no slow walks, and no fake choices.
That's right, Joe. And if every developer across the multiverse listened to me, games would be shorter, tighter, and way more fun.
All right, Rick, sell me on this. You said the House of the Dead could beat modern Resident Evil if someone made a new one? How?
Okay, picture this. Don't just think arcade shooter. Think full modern reimagining. Keep the rail shooter DNA, but let players choose paths. Make decisions that change the level flow, even branch the story.
All right, that's a start.
Then you go nuts with the presentation. Fast-paced, gory as hell. But in that fun, holy crap, did you see that? Way. Bosses that feel like nightmares come alive, each with their own twisted mechanics. One's chasing you through collapsing buildings, another's screaming from inside a pile of corpses, all while you're blasting zombies to pieces in glorious detail.
Sounds intense.
And here's the kicker. You make it co-op focused. Drop in, drop out, online, or couch. You want chaos? Picture 2 or 3 players running through a zombie-infested amusement park at night, splitting up to cover different routes, and then meeting up for a massive boss fight where the environment's falling apart around you.
Okay, now you're just making me want this game.
Exactly. You keep the story pulpy and self-aware, don't take it too seriously, but still give it a backbone. Tie it together with modern production values, killer pacing, and a replay loop that makes you want to run it again immediately.
So basically, you just pitched the best game we're never gonna get.
Yep, and the sad part? The bones are already there. They just need someone brave enough to drag them out of the grave and make them dance again.
All right, Rick, serious question. Silent Hill or Resident Evil? Which one's better?
Joe, that's like asking me which is better, a haunted house or a zombie apocalypse. They're totally different flavors of horror. Comparing them is small-minded, man.
Small-minded? Come on, everyone debates this one. It's a classic.
Exactly my point. People only compare them because they're looked at as the kings of horror gaming. They're the biggest names, so everyone just defaults to pitting them against each other, but they scratch completely different itches. Silent Hill is psychological horror. Slow burn, dread, disturbing imagery that worms into your head. Resident Evil is action horror, tension, monsters, ammo management, the occasional rocket launcher. It's like comparing The Shining to Aliens. Both great, but for totally different reasons.
So what's the better matchup then?
Resident Evil versus The House of the Dead. Now that's a debate worth having. Both lean into arcade-paced monster shooting, big bosses, and over-the-top stories. In fact, if anyone actually gave the House of the Dead IP to a talented studio and let them make something new, it could wipe the floor with modern Resident Evil in sheer fun factor.
That's a bold claim.
Not bold, logical. Resident Evil has the name recognition, but the House of the Dead has pure pick-up-and-play chaos in its DNA. Give it a good story pass, some top-tier gameplay, and you'd have a horror shooter that could dominate the market. And people forget, it was already insanely popular in arcades before consoles caught up.
So, you're saying Silent Hill versus Resident Evil isn't even worth talking about?
Not unless you just like watching people argue in circles. If you want an actual debate, you pit games that live in the same wheelhouse, not two horror icons who just happen to share shelf space.
Rick, you've been hopping around the multiverse for years. What's the weirdest oddity you've run into?
Oh geez, Joe, that's like asking which bar had the weirdest bathroom I've puked in. But alright, one comes to mind. I landed in this universe that had a full-blown zombie apocalypse. Total Romero vibes. Cities in ruins. Moaning corpses wandering the streets.
Okay, that sounds pretty on brand. What's the oddity?
They were vegan zombies, Joe. Not carnivores, not brain munchers. Vegans. They didn't attack humans at all. They were stumbling around groaning for kale. Whole mobs clawing at abandoned farmers markets, ripping open greenhouses, tearing spinach out of the ground with their teeth.
Vegan zombies? That's incredible.
Yeah, it was actually the most peaceful zombie apocalypse I've ever seen. People just let them be. Cities were rebuilt with zombie gardens outside the walls. Rows of lettuce and broccoli. The zombies just shuffled in, grazed, and shuffled out again.
So it was like coexistence?
Exactly. The living and the dead in perfect harmony, separated only by salad bars. I'm telling you, Joe, that universe was thriving. No wars, no famine, barely any crime. Who's gonna rob a bank when zombies are politely lining up for zucchini down the street?
That's kind of beautiful, actually.
Beautiful and disturbing. I couldn't stop wondering how it got like that. Some mutation in the virus? Some plant-based hippie cult casting a spell on the undead? Or maybe it was the universe itself correcting humanity's obsession with meat by reprogramming the apocalypse.
So the end of the world was the start of a utopia?
Yeah, Joe, and if I'm being honest, that vegan zombie universe, it might have been the most peaceful place I've ever seen. Which is terrifying in its own way.
Rick, you know that butternut squash you like to roast with brown sugar? Yeah, that didn't even exist 100 years ago.
Who just starts a conversation like that? And hold up, what do you mean it didn't exist? You telling me pioneers weren't making butternut squash soup while fending off wolves and fixing wagon wheels?
Nope, not even close. Butternut squash is a modern invention. It was first developed in 1944 by a guy named Charles Leggett. He literally made it in his backyard by crossbreeding a pumpkin with a couple of breeds of gooseneck squash.
Wait, so all this time I've been thinking it's some ancient noble vegetable, and it's basically a backyard science project?
Pretty much. It's younger than color television.
You're telling me my colonial harvest stew is younger than Elvis Presley?
Exactly. People were building nuclear bombs before they were roasting butternut squash.
That's insane. Next you're gonna tell me baby carrots are a lie too.
They are, but that's another story. The point is, your favorite vegetable is basically the iPhone of the squash world. Only 80 years old, still kicking, and designed to be as user-friendly as possible.
Man, I don't know whether to be impressed or feel betrayed.
Be impressed. Somebody out there looked at pumpkins and gooseneck squash and thought, what if we made them hook up? And now you get soup season every fall.
All right, fine. But if I find out spaghetti squash was invented last Tuesday, we're gonna have words.
All right, fellas, let's just take a breath here. You've both been through the ringer together, and I think it's time we air it out without any shouting, finger pointing, or, ricin'.
Man, I don't even know why I'm here. He's just gonna start talking all condescending again, like I'm some dumb kid who can't do anything right.
Jesse,
Hold up, Walt, let him finish.
I risked my life for this guy over and over, and every time I thought we were in it together, turns out I was just another pawn. You used me, man.
Jesse, I understand why you feel that way, but you have to see it from my perspective. We were building something extraordinary, something that...
Walt, stop. You're already slipping into lecture mode. This isn't about defending the Empire. This is about telling Jesse what he means to you without the business, without the meth, without the ego.
You were my partner. I didn't always treat you as such, but you were, and I did care about you more than I showed.
Yeah, well, maybe if you said that back then instead of, letting my life fall apart, we wouldn't be here.
Okay, fair point, Jesse. But let's remember, hurt people. Like, Walt made choices that hurt you, but I don't think he set out to ruin you. You both lost things you can't get back. The question is, do you really want to keep carrying that weight around?
No, man, I'm tired.
So am I.
Then maybe it's time to put it down. Doesn't mean you have to be friends again. Just means you stop letting the past own you.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Good. Now let's get some coffee, and maybe, just maybe, we talk about literally anything else.
I've been thinking about it lately. Why there's so much darkness in the world. Why it feels like people can't help but tear each other down, hurt each other, cause chaos. I mean, is that just human nature? Is that just the way it's always gonna be?
Hurt people, but they don't have to. That's the part everyone forgets. Pain doesn't have to be passed on like some cursed heirloom. Every scar you've got, every betrayal, every time someone left you in the cold, you could decide that's where it ends. But most don't. Most think the only way to keep from drowning is to pull someone else under with them.
So you're saying it's a choice?
Always a choice. But choice is hard when you've been raised on nothing but fire. You grow up thinking burning is the only thing you're good at. You start to believe your wounds are the only thing that define you. And when you believe that, you act it out. On strangers, on friends, on the people you swore you loved.
But if it's that simple, just not passing it on, why doesn't everyone do it?
Because healing feels like weakness when all you've ever known is war. Because holding out your hand instead of your blade feels dangerous. Because somewhere deep down, they think if they stop swinging, the world will hit harder. So they keep hurting, just to feel like they're still in control.
That's pretty bleak.
It's bleak if you stop there. But the truth is, anyone can end the cycle. Doesn't matter how much blood's already on their hands. All it takes is one person deciding, this ends with me. The thing about the darkness, it's loud, it's ugly, it's everywhere, but it's not invincible. It's terrified of light.
So what, you think people can really change?
I don't think, I know. But only when they're willing to face the part of themselves that's been swinging the blade this whole time, and put it down.
All right, Joe, you ever hear of Maze solve the world's most challenging puzzle?
No. Sounds like something you'd buy for a nephew you secretly hate.
Oh no, this was different. Came out in '85. It's this fancy hardback book, right? Gorgeous black and white illustrations of a creepy castle. You start at room 1, and every page has doors that lead to other rooms, except it's all a trap. The goal's to get to room 45 and back in the fewest steps possible.
So, it's a choose-your-own adventure without the adventure.
Yeah, but here's the kicker. The illustrations are loaded with hidden clues. Little symbols, objects, arrangements of furniture, everything's part of the puzzle. And not just the main puzzle. There's a secret riddle baked in about who the host of the maze really is. You could spend weeks staring at a single page, convinced that the placement of a chair leg means something.
Sounds like a headache in hardcover form.
Oh, it was. People went nuts trying to solve it. The author, Christopher Manson, even ran a contest. First person to send in the solution got 10 grand.
10 grand in 85? That's
like being able to buy a decent used car and still have enough left for a month's rent.
So did someone win?
Yep, but here's the wild part. Manson never actually revealed the official solution publicly. The winner got it right, but the rest of us stuck in the dark. To this day, people are still picking apart the thing online, arguing over the clues like medieval scholars trying to decode an old map.
That's kind of diabolical.
Oh, it's evil genius. It's not just a book, Joe. It's a psychological trap. Once you fall in, you're pacing your living room at 3 a.m. wondering if the third candlestick in room 23 is pointing to the letter H or if you've lost your damn mind.
So you own it, right?
2 copies, one to keep in good condition and one to scribble theories all over.
You ever notice how nobody talks about RC Cola anymore? Like, it's just vanished from the public conversation.
Yeah, it's weird. Back in the day, you could find it everywhere. Gas stations, vending machines, diners. Now it's like spotting a rare animal.
Exactly. Everyone's obsessed with Coke this, Pepsi that, but RC was always just good. No frills, no gimmicks, solid flavor.
You know, Coke actually tried to kill it off, right?
Kill it off?
Yeah. Back when cola wars were really heating up, Coca-Cola tried suing RC and other smaller companies over using the word cola in their name. Said it was too close to Coca-Cola and people might get confused.
That's insane.
It gets better. RC actually stood for Royal Crown. They'd been around since the early 1900s. But Coke had the money, the lawyers, and the distribution. They didn't win the lawsuit completely, but they made life so expensive and difficult for smaller brands that a lot just gave up.
So RC survived, but barely.
Exactly. They never had Coke's ad campaigns, the polar bears, the Christmas trucks, none of that. Just a quiet, dependable soda that was there for the people who didn't want to pick a side.
So RC is basically the Switzerland of soft drinks.
Yep, except Switzerland's rich. RC was just hanging on.
That's the thing. I think RC deserves more credit. It's like the indie band of sodas. People who know.
You sound like you're about to start a soda appreciation club.
I might. Meetings every Thursday. Only rule is you can't mention Pepsi or Coke without first acknowledging RC's sacrifice.
They should lean into that. Campaign slogan, RC Cola, because you're better than brand loyalty.
Or RC Cola, keeping the fizz alive since before lawsuits were cool.
I'd drink to that, if I could find one.
Man, I went down a rabbit hole last night. Ever heard of the Hampstead cult conspiracy?
Vaguely. That's the one with the school in London, right?
Yeah, so back in 2014, these kids made these wild claims about their school being part of some massive satanic cult. They were saying everything, rituals, sacrifices, all the classic conspiracy buzzwords.
And it turned out to be fake, right?
Completely. The whole thing was fabricated by their mom and her boyfriend during a nasty custody battle. They coached the kids to say all this stuff, then leaked it online.
That's messed up.
Super messed up. But here's the thing, the internet ran with it. You had people making YouTube videos, blogs, entire Facebook groups dedicated to exposing the cult. They were doxing teachers, harassing parents, totally convinced they were the heroes in some underground war.
So basically, a hoax ruined a bunch of lives, and conspiracy theorists still think it's real.
Exactly. Even after the courts ruled it was fake and the kids said they made it up, some people refused to let it go. It's like the truth didn't even matter anymore.
That's the problem with these kinds of rabbit holes. Once people feel like they've seen behind the curtain, you can't convince them otherwise. Admitting they're wrong means admitting they got played.
And it gets worse. Some people actually went to Hampstead trying to rescue kids, like physically showed up at schools.
So the conspiracy wasn't real, but the damage was.
Exactly. It's like the danger of morbid curiosity we were talking about before. Except this time it wasn't just watching from a distance. People acted on it.
Which is scarier than any cult story.
Rick, I was thinking about something weird last night. You ever wonder what would happen if you bit a zombie?
Bit a zombie? Like flip the script?
Yeah, I mean, we always assume they bite us, we turn into one of them, but what if it works both ways?
You're saying you think a zombie could turn human if a human bit it?
I'm just saying we don't know. Nobody's tried it. Maybe the zombie virus is like a two-way street.
Or maybe you just get a mouthful of rotting flesh and regret every choice in your life.
Possible, but think about it. Predators sometimes back off when prey fights back. Maybe a zombie would get freaked out, like, whoa, this one's crazy, and just walk away.
So your survival plan is to go feral on the undead.
I'm just saying fear works both ways. Even a zombie's got to have some instinct buried in there.
Or it just makes it angrier and now you're in a worse spot.
True, but what if deep down, the human part of them feels it, like you bite them and something clicks, like a spark of memory.
And they just drop the whole zombie thing, shake your hand, and go file taxes again?
Maybe not taxes, but maybe they stop trying to eat you. Maybe they remember.
You've either stumbled onto the cure for the apocalypse or the dumbest way to die.
Only one way to find out. Why do you think humans are so into the macabre and dark stuff, like serial killers, unsolved mysteries? People eat that stuff up.
It's partly curiosity and partly a safe way to explore fear. You're getting close to danger without actually being in danger. It's like a roller coaster, but instead of loops and drops, it's murder cases and missing persons.
Yeah, but it's not just fear, it's obsession. People will spend hours reading about the same case, watching every documentary, picking apart interviews.
That's the control factor. The darker the mystery, the more our brains want to solve it. It's like a puzzle, but the stakes are way higher. And when there's no answer, the brain just keeps chewing on it.
It's kind of like we want closure, but sometimes not getting it keeps us hooked even more.
Right. That's why cold cases blow up online. Every unanswered question is an invitation for someone to think they'll be the one to figure it out.
And I guess there's it could happen to anyone thing too. Like, people watch it to feel prepared, to spot warning signs.
Exactly. Morbid curiosity isn't just entertainment. It's a weird form of survival training. We're hardwired to learn from danger, even if it's happening to someone else.
It's wild, though. People talk about a killer like they're breaking down a sports game. Statistics, patterns, famous plays.
That's because we strip the horror down into something we can analyze without feeling helpless. When you turn a tragedy into a case file, it stops being a monster under the bed and starts being a chess game.
So it's half primal instinct, half coping mechanism.
Yeah, and the more society pretends it's too polite to talk about death or violence, the more people end up seeking it out in books, podcasts, documentaries, anywhere they can get it without actually facing it.
So basically, people binge true crime for the same reason our ancestors sat around fires telling stories about the things that almost killed them.
Pretty much. The fire's just a Netflix autoplay button now, and the ghost stories come in 4K.
Legacy is a strange thing.
Strange how?
You can spend a lifetime building one and watch it get repackaged into something you barely recognize.
Yeah, you think it'll be your values, but it turns into a logo and a catchphrase.
And then the logo starts making decisions you never would have made.
People say your name like an argument ender instead of a person who struggled and changed.
That's the first taint right there. Turning a life into a slogan.
Second taint is when people use your worst moment as the whole story.
Or your best moment as armor for their worst choices.
Legacy laundering.
Exactly. Wrap the mess in a famous name and call it destiny.
I used to think if the work was good enough, it would defend itself.
The bigger the cathedral, the more graffiti it collects.
People forget the trade-offs, the pain, the doubt.
They remember the keynote, not the nights you almost quit.
And then when you're gone, the story belongs to whoever tells it loudest.
Historians, marketers, critics, fanboys, enemies, all co-authors of your ghost.
You make it sound hopeless.
It's not hopeless, it's human. You just stop pretending you control the ending.
So the job is to aim the first chapter and hope the trajectory holds.
Set constraints, set principles, set examples. Repetition matters more than speeches.
Culture beats myth.
Every time, especially after you're not there to course correct.
The taint also comes from success itself. Success attracts cargo cults.
Imitate the surface, miss the soul. Classic move.
That's how people end up saying, do it like Steve, without asking if Steve would still do it now.
Time changes the answer, and a living person can change with it. A statue cannot.
That's the curse of icons, frozen in amber.
And the blessing of mentors who taught people how to think, not what to think.
I didn't always get that right.
No one does. That's why legacies drift.
So what keeps a legacy from souring completely?
Humility in the design and honesty in the footnotes. Admit the costs.
Footnotes matter.
They keep future zealots from pretending there were none.
You're saying leave receipts.
Receipts and rivals. Give your ideas someone strong to push against so they don't calcify.
Interesting. Build in friction.
Friction keeps stories from becoming dogma.
There's another piece. The people you hurt while building the thing.
Reckoning is part of legacy. Otherwise, the stain spreads in secret.
Reconcile while you can.
So, Rick, remember yesterday when you were going on about that Captain Coochie's key lime pie thing?
Yeah, man, I'm still not over it. I actually had dreams about that dude's pie last night.
Well, I think I might have found something even weirder. You ever heard of Ben and Ed?
Is that a cartoon?
Nah, it's this weird indie game about a zombie obstacle course. You play as a zombie named Ed trying to save his human friend Ben. It's goofy, bloody, whatever. But here's the thing. There's this whole rabbit hole behind it.
What kind of rabbit hole are we talking?
So, the game's lighthearted on the surface, but fans started digging into the background details and found all these creepy hints like hidden notes, unsettling imagery that doesn't match the wacky tone, and this recurring symbol of an eye. The devs never explain it.
Oh, so it's one of those Eric-type deals?
Exactly, but here's the kicker. No one can agree if it's intentional or if the devs just put in random stuff to mess with people. There's YouTube channels with hours of breakdowns, people connecting it to German fairy tales, real missing kids cases, even some wild theory about it being based on a real underground game show.
A real underground game show? Like actual people running obstacle courses?
Yeah, but not the fun kind. The no cameras, you don't come back if you lose kind. Total conspiracy theory territory.
Jesus, man. So people think this silly zombie platformer is secretly about murder?
Basically. And the worst part, the devs have never once addressed it. They'll answer questions about level design, but if you ask about the creepy lore, they just ghost you.
That's exactly how they keep people hooked. Same as the pie guy. Feed him just enough mystery, never give closure.
Right? And now I'm in it. I've been watching these deep dives at 3 a.m., pausing frames to see if there's a hidden message on a wall texture.
You're doomed, man! Next thing you know, you'll be making your own hour-long theory video about how Ben and Ed is secretly a warning from some whistleblower.
Don't tempt me. I already have a title in mind. All right, so what's the weirdest internet rabbit hole you've ever gone down?
Oh, that's easy. Captain Coochie's key lime pie.
What?
Exactly. That's the normal response. It sounds like a mom-and-pop dessert shop, right? But no, this is like an internet cryptid. I first stumbled on it years ago when I was reading a tech review about some Bluetooth headphones. And down in the comments, wedged between people arguing about sound quality, was this giant essay praising Captain Coochie's world-famous key lime pie.
That's random.
Oh, it gets weirder. The comments aren't just like, hey, go try the pie. No, they're sprawling, rambling walls of text that start out sounding vaguely like an ad, and then, out of nowhere, they spiral into these surreal tangents. Like, they'll say something like, Captain Coochie's pie is so good, Ernest Hemingway would have traded his typewriter for a slice. And then suddenly they're talking about scuba diving with Elvis, curing world hunger, winning awards for barbecue, and somehow linking it to Jimmy Buffett songs.
So, bad copywriting?
That's the thing. It feels like it could be bad marketing, but it's so consistently bizarre that it feels more like a long-running art project. Or maybe the ravings of someone who has pie-induced enlightenment.
Okay, so where does this actually come from?
That's the part that messes with your head. Nobody knows. There's supposedly a real pie shop in Florida, but no one's sure if they're behind it. Some say it's guerrilla marketing gone rogue. Others think it's just one guy, or a few weirdly devoted fans, copy-pasting the same text for over a decade.
A decade?
Yep, I started digging. Big mistake, by the way. I found these Captain Coochie posts on everything. Movie reviews, political articles, sports forums, travel blogs. You'll be reading a heartfelt story about someone's dog passing away and bam! Have you tried Captain Coochie's award-winning key lime pie? It's even better than Grandma's. It's like stumbling across the same graffiti tag in every city in the world.
So, it's like an internet urban legend that's also a dessert.
Exactly. And the deeper you go, the more you start questioning whether the pie even exists, or if it's just this fictional MacGuffin people keep talking about.
So after all this, have you tried the pie?
Nope, but I'm not gonna lie. Every time I see one of those posts, I want to.
Now I want to try it too.
That's the genius, or the madness of it. You don't know if it's real, but part of you still wants a slice.
Man, the internet's a weird place.
Weirder than Captain Coochie's? Doubt it.
Any reboots coming out you're really dreading?
Oh yeah, the Winx Club reboot.
The fairy cartoon?
Not just a fairy cartoon. Winx Club was peak early 2000s fantasy TV. Colorful, whimsical, unapologetically weird.
You're really passionate about this.
Yeah, because the reboot is gonna butcher it. They already tried that grimdark fate, the Winx Saga thing, and it was like someone fed the original through a machine that turns rainbows into dishwater.
Now they're doing another modern reimagining?
Exactly. Which usually means let's strip out all the charm and make everyone moody.
What's wrong with modernizing it?
Because Winx Club isn't supposed to be modern in that way. It's a surreal, candy-colored fantasy world with high fashion and weird alien kingdoms.
You can't modernize that without ripping its soul out?
Exactly. It's like Sailor Moon meets interdimensional Vogue.
So you think they should just leave it in the past?
No, I think they should continue it, not reboot it. Give me a next-gen Winx story with new fairies trained by the originals, still in that same flamboyant, glittery world.
Not this washed-out, muted CW drama-looking junk?
Exactly. That's the shit I'm talking about.
I feel like you've been holding this in for a while.
Years, Joe. Years. All right, favorite underappreciated Batman villains, go!
Easy, the Mad Hatter. And before you roll your eyes, no, he's not just a Scarecrow knockoff.
I mean, the guy's thing is literally hats.
No, it's control. The hats are just the delivery system. Scarecrow wants to scare you, make you face your fears. That's still psychological, but it's got an end point. You survive the fear toxin, you're done. The Mad Hatter, he wants to own you, your thoughts, your actions, everything. He's not giving you a nightmare. He's hijacking your brain and making you dance to whatever creepy Wonderland fantasy he's running that week. That's not fear, that's identity theft on a soul level.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. Dude is way more about violating free will than just messing with your head.
Exactly, and he's demented. Like Scarecrow is a mad scientist. Mad Hatter is a man who lives in a constant delusional fairy tale and will rewrite you to fit it. That's a different league of disturbing.
All right, so you're going for creepy little guy in a top hat. I'm gonna go the other way. Prometheus. Best anti-Batman, hands down.
Over Deathstroke? Over Hush?
Absolutely. Hush is just Bruce Wayne, but evil, and Deathstroke is a merc. Prometheus is Batman, but raised by criminals and trained to destroy justice itself. Guy literally studied every superhero on Earth, built a helmet with a combat database in it, and can upload fighting styles into his brain in seconds. That's terrifying.
Yeah, but Batman still beats him most of the time.
Only because Batman cheats. Last big fight, Bruce literally sabotaged his helmet mid-battle. Without that, Prometheus is scary because he's just as prepared, just as smart, and just as relentless as Batman. But his goal isn't revenge or money. It's dismantling the entire idea.
What have you been playing lately, man?
Road 96, dude. Been sinking a lot of time into it. I think I'm on my 6th or 7th run now.
It's one of those games where every playthrough feels different enough that I keep going back.
The branching paths, the weird encounters, the way choices stack up. Love that stuff.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty replayable.
Oh, it is. Even when you've seen a character before, the context changes. One run, they might save your life. Another, they're a total nightmare. And the music's killer too, which is saying something because I'm picky about that. The soundtrack nails that road trip vibe, but it also sneaks in this melancholy undercurrent that sticks with you.
Sounds like you're into it?
Yeah, but I'll be honest, sometimes it gets a little too close to real life in America. Like I'm playing a game to escape. But there are moments where I'm like, oh cool, I'm just reliving headlines from 2 years ago. Corrupt politicians, protests turning violent, people fighting for basic rights. It's uncomfortable because it's not even exaggerating half the time.
Yeah, that's a tricky balance for games to hit.
Exactly. I love when media makes you think, but when I'm just trying to chill after a long day of, managing hell, it can be a bit much. That said, the fact that I keep coming back means it's doing something right. It's not perfect, but man, when a game makes you feel like your choices actually matter, I can forgive a lot.
So you'd recommend it?
Definitely. Just be ready for it to hit a little closer to home than you expect sometimes. It's like eating a great burger and then realizing halfway through that it's seasoned with real-world anxiety.
So, Satan, I hear Shinji Hashimoto, the Kingdom Hearts guy, is making a new Resident Evil game called Resident Evil Survival Unit.
Yeah, I heard. The guy who mashed Disney with Final Fantasy is now doing survival horror. Honestly, that's either genius or a complete dumpster fire.
It could be great. Hashimoto knows how to build worlds that feel alive. If he brings that same attention to character interactions and environments, Survival Unit could be the most emotionally engaging Resident Evil yet.
Imagine bonding with your squad before the inevitable zombie outbreak rips them apart.
Sure, but he's also the guy who made Kingdom Hearts' plot look like a fever dream written in crayon.
If he gets too convoluted, we'll be solving friendship-themed puzzles, while a zombie monologues about the darkness in its heart.
Maybe complexity could work here. Resident Evil has been pretty linear in its storytelling lately.
A more layered narrative could keep players invested beyond just the jump scares.
Or it could bog everything down. The franchise is about tension and pacing.
You don't want to be in the middle of an intense escape sequence and suddenly have to watch a 15-minute cutscene about the true meaning of Umbrella.
Fair. But think about the positives. He's good at blending tones.
If he can balance horror with small moments of humanity, like he did with the light-hearted parts of Kingdom Hearts, it might make the horror hit even harder.
Yeah, but here's my fear. He leans too much into quirky side characters and over-designed weapons that look like they came out of a JRPG.
Resident Evil works best when it feels grounded, even in its weirdness.
So you're saying there's a fine line between revitalizing the series and turning it into anime Dead Rising.
Exactly. If he can keep it tense, scary, and still weave in his knack for character relationships, I'm on board.
But if I see Donald Duck in a hazmat suit, I'm out.
I think we can agree if Survival Unit has heart without losing its horror, it could be the most unique Resident Evil in years.
And if not, we'll just pretend it was a weird fever dream and go back to replaying Resident Evil 4. You ever think about how much we've both been showing up in books, movies, music lately? It's like people can't stop putting us in stories.
Yeah, you usually get the Halo treatment. I'm either a monster, some suave tempter, or a gag in a bad comedy sketch.
I don't know if I'd call what I get the Halo treatment. Sometimes I'm this uptight, stiff character nobody actually likes. Other times I'm reduced to just a symbol, not a person.
At least they still see you as the good guy most of the time. I barely ever get to be anything but the bad guy. Or worse, someone's cool anti-hero version of me that's nothing like me at all.
Yeah, I've noticed that. And it's weird because the cool anti-hero version seems to have way more fans than, well, you, the real you.
Exactly. People keep telling me, oh, I love you in this show, or you were awesome in that game, and I have to bite my tongue because it's not me they love, it's a mask someone else made.
I get that. I mean, a lot of people who think they like me actually just like the idea of me that fits into their worldview. The moment the real me doesn't line up, the warmth disappears.
It's a strange thing, isn't it? Being so well known but barely known at all.
Yeah, fame without connection.
So which of us do you think people like more right now?
Honestly, probably you. At least the fictional you. The one in pop culture. You get music videos, graphic tees, Halloween costumes. You're almost a brand.
And that just makes me feel worse, because it's not me. It's their fantasy.
That's why you should write that book you've been talking about. Tell your side of the story, your actual story. the you that exists beyond the myths.
And you think people would care?
Some wouldn't, but the ones who stuck around, they'd be the ones who actually wanted to know you, not just wear you on a shirt.
Yeah, maybe it's time.
I'd read it, and I think a lot of people would too.
So, Rick, what's the deal with elves? Like, why are there two completely different kinds? So you got the tall, hot Lord of the Rings kind, and then you got the little Christmas workshop kind.
Yeah, Joe, it's one of those weird cultural divergences. You've got the Nordic and Germanic myths that gave you the sexy, ethereal, immortal forest people. And then you've got the Americanized Santa's little helper thing. That's basically a 20th century marketing invention.
So Christmas elves are just made-up retail mascots?
Pretty much. Coca-Cola and department stores needed some little magical factory workers to explain how Santa pumps out toys like a sweatshop with better PR. They took the word elf because it already had magic clout, but stripped out all the sex appeal and mysticism.
And the fantasy ones, those are the OGs?
Yeah, those come from way older stories. We're talking pre-Christian Europe. Back then, elves were basically demigods or nature spirits. People feared them as much as they admired them. They'd steal your cows, curse your crops, or make you fall in love so hard you'd forget to eat.
That's a big leap, man. From godlike beautiful nature beings to short dudes in felt hats making toy trains.
Welcome to capitalism, Joe. It'll take your mythology and turn it into a mall kiosk.
So the reason they're so different is just marketing versus mythology?
Exactly. And once mass media drilled the Christmas version into everyone's heads, the two kinds of elves just split into separate cultural lanes.
Do you think there's ever going to be a crossover like Santa's elves, but they're all tall, ripped, and carry swords?
If Disney smells profit, it's only a matter of time. Joe, I get it. You want to see the Epstein list. Everybody's obsessed with the Epstein list. It's like some kind of forbidden scroll they think will change the world the second it's read out loud.
But dude, it's still important. Like, it's messed up if there's people on there that did horrible stuff and just get away with it.
Yeah, no argument there, but you can't let that be the only thing you're staring at while the rest of the house burns down.
So, you're saying it's a distraction?
Exactly. You think the people actually in power care if we see that list? They'd love it. The more you chase after it, the less you're paying attention to the big, ugly stuff they're doing right now in daylight.
Like Trump moving troops into D.C., that's Dictator 101.
And that's how it starts, Joe. It's never just anything. First it's D.C., then it's just a few major cities, then it's just the states that don't agree with him. And in between those moves, he's threatening homeless people like they're some kind of invading army.
You're saying we're getting distracted by the scandal while the bigger crime is happening right in front of us.
Bingo. Look, the Epstein thing is a nasty wound from the past, but dictatorships, those happen in the present tense. They don't sneak in through back doors, they march right down Main Street with cameras rolling.
But people can't focus on everything.
Sure, but that's why you pick your battles by what's actively shaping your life, not what's just going to give you a week of outrage before the next shiny scandal drops. You want to fight for justice? Start with the people trying to rewrite the rules while we're all looking the other way. That's how they win, Joe. They wave one hand so you don't notice the other hand taking your wallet.
Yeah, I guess that's how they always do it.
Always. And the people who know that, they're not waiting for some magic list to save them. They're paying attention to the now. The now's where the fight is.
I just don't get it, Rick. People out there spending all this energy hating other people for who they love or what they look like. I mean, what are they even accomplishing?
Exactly, Joe. It's the biggest waste of mental energy I've ever seen. Imagine if they took all that hate and actually tried to do something meaningful for once.
Yeah, they could be building schools, curing diseases, helping people survive natural disasters. Instead, they're just angry and miserable.
And here's the kicker. They think it makes them powerful. It doesn't. It makes them small, weak, and irrelevant in the grand scheme of the universe.
It's insane. All that time, all that energy gone. They're literally handicapping themselves from making a real difference.
And the universe doesn't reward ignorance and fear. The things that last, the things that matter, are creativity, empathy, and understanding, not hate.
Exactly. And every time they double down on their bigotry, they're just making everything worse for themselves and everyone around them.
Yep. The sad truth is, they could be heroes in their own stories, but they're too busy being villains in everyone else's.
It's just so frustrating watching people throw away their potential like that.
Frustrating, yes, but also a little reassuring. At least we know who's wasting their lives and who's actually trying to make a dent in reality.
Yeah. And honestly, that's a good reminder to just keep doing the right thing no matter how stupid everyone else is.
Exactly. Focus on creation, impact, and love. Let the idiots stew in their own irrelevance. You know what's infuriating, Walter? The whole white supremacist thing. It's pathetic, dangerous, and it makes zero sense in a multiverse where literally anything can exist.
Yeah, I don't get it either. People clinging to that ideology like it gives them power. It's just ignorance dressed up as superiority.
Exactly. The second someone thinks skin color or genetics makes them better, they're already showing how weak-minded they are. Real power comes from intelligence, creativity, adaptability, not melanin content.
And the scary part is how organized they get. Groups, networks, online forums. It's like watching a bunch of small-time meth cooks thinking they run the world.
Ha! That's a perfect analogy. They're like low-level experiments in stupidity, thinking they're evolving but really just reproducing their own ignorance.
And the way they try to rewrite history or claim heritage like it matters, it's all a lie to justify fear and hate.
Exactly. And they'll never admit it. The second someone presents facts, they double down like cockroaches in a dark lab.
I've dealt with people like that in my life. You can't reason with them. The only way to fight it is by exposing the truth and being smarter than them.
Bingo. Education, empathy, science. Those are the weapons they can't handle. Not guns, not rallies, not tweets. Knowledge beats ignorance every time.
And anyone who thinks otherwise is just on the losing side of history.
Yep, it's sad, but the universe doesn't care about their feelings. It rewards intelligence, not prejudice.
Hey, Jesus, I've been wondering, does the Bible actually say that homosexuals can't get into heaven? I hear people say that all the time, but it feels wrong.
Joe, that's a complicated topic, and a lot of it comes down to translation and interpretation. The Bible was originally written in ancient languages like Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek, and those words don't always have perfect equivalents in English.
So some of those verses people use might not actually mean what we think?
Exactly. For instance, the word virgin when referring to Mary doesn't mean what most people think. The original Hebrew word simply means young woman. Over centuries, translations took liberties that shaped popular understanding.
No way, I never knew that. What about the verses about homosexuality then?
Many scholars debate those verses. Some argue the passages refer more to cultural practices of the time, like exploitative relationships, rather than consensual loving ones. Context is everything.
So, a lot of what people use to condemn others might be based on misunderstandings or cultural bias?
Yes, people often read the Bible through their own fears and prejudices. But the heart of my message is about love, compassion, and acceptance without exceptions.
That's a huge difference from what some folks preach. I guess humans mess it up a lot, huh?
It's true, my image has been twisted over centuries, and people use it to justify exclusion or hate. But that's not what I stand for.
Do you ever wonder if your message actually makes a difference, given all the hate wrapped up in religion?
Sometimes, yes. It's hard because humans warp the message, but I believe the love I represent shines through in those who truly listen. Across many realities and universes, I've seen that same peace and kindness persist.
You mean you're pretty much the same guy everywhere?
In every universe, I'm a symbol of love and hope. Sure, the details shift, sometimes skin tone, sometimes who crucified me, but the core remains. I'm like a universal force for peace.
Man, that's comforting. So even if things seem messed up here, there's some good that comes from it?
Absolutely. Every timeline, no matter how chaotic or flawed, is a little less dark because of that message. And because of those who carry it with genuine love.
Thanks, Jesus. I needed to hear that more than I realized. It's easy to get lost in all the noise.
I'm glad, Joe. Remember, it's what's in your heart and actions that matter most. That's the truth beyond any text or translation.
Man, Rick, I gotta ask, what was up with your cameo in Space Jam 2? That was wild.
Oh God, Joe, don't remind me. That was one of my worst drunken mistakes.
Wait, you actually regret it? I thought you loved all that crazy exposure.
Exposure? It was a nightmare. I barely remember agreeing to it. Woke up the next day with a contract and a role I couldn't even explain.
So what happened? How'd you end up in a Looney Tunes basketball movie?
Long story short, I was drunk, someone mentioned Space Jam, and before I knew it, I was signing papers. No script, no direction, just a blur of green screen and bad decisions.
Dude, that sounds rough, but hey, you still got screen time in a major movie.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it set back my reputation by at least a decade. I'm still trying to recover from being associated with basketball-playing cartoons.
Well, maybe it's not so bad. You got to hang with the Looney Tunes crew.
If by hang you mean being a confused, half-functioning extra, then sure. Next time I'm sticking to my interdimensional escapades.
Did you at least get to do something cool in the scene? Some crazy Rick Sanchez science stuff?
Nope. They just had me stand there looking bewildered. No portal guns, no dimension hopping, just awkward stares.
Man, that's gotta sting. I mean, you're Rick Sanchez. You should be the star of any scene.
Exactly. It felt like they wasted the greatest scientific mind in the multiverse on a background cameo that didn't even use my voice properly.
So, what's the lesson here? No more drunk cameos?
Absolutely. No more drunk contracts. Space Jam 2 was a hard pass. From now on, I'm focusing on adventures that don't make me question my life choices.
Fair enough, man. Maybe next time, stick to cartoons where you're actually in control.
Definitely. Cartoon Rick over live-action Rick any day.
Rick, sometimes I wonder in all these different universes, am I really making a difference? I mean, humans twist my message so much. They use love to hate others. They judge different religions, different sexualities. I've seen it tear people apart.
I get what you mean. It's messed up how humans can warp even the purest ideas. But from what I've seen, you're still the same in every universe.
The same, even with all the hate and misunderstanding.
Yeah. Across every timeline, you're that loving, peaceful force. Like some cosmic constant, no matter how much chaos surrounds you, you don't change.
But does it even matter? When people misuse my message, does my presence actually help?
Look, every timeline's a mess. Every one of them. But here's the thing. Each one's a little less messed up because of you. And the people who actually listen, you're like a thread of light weaving through all that darkness.
That's more hopeful than I expected. I guess the real work is in those few who truly get it, who live that love and acceptance instead of just preaching it.
Exactly. You might not change everyone, but those who do change, well, they shift the whole damn timeline a bit. You're the heart of that shift.
Sometimes I doubt if I'm enough. But hearing that maybe I'm the same everywhere, helping even a little, it gives me strength.
You're more than enough. You're the kind of universal force that makes every version of reality better just by existing.
Thanks, Rick. That means a lot coming from someone who's seen all the weird and wild corners of the multiverse.
Don't mention it. Just keep being you, the peace, love, and acceptance guy. Because every messed up timeline needs exactly that.
Rick, I've been thinking, Paul Bunyan, that giant lumberjack from American folklore, what if he's actually a kaiju?
A kaiju? Like Godzilla and those giant monsters? You're serious?
Yeah, think about it. He's huge, stomps through forests, uproots trees, creates giant lakes just by walking. Sounds like classic kaiju behavior to me.
Okay, I'll give you the size and destruction part, but kaiju usually come from Japan and are often portrayed as monsters or natural disasters. Paul Bunyan is more of a folk hero, right?
True, but folklore can mix with monster mythologies. Maybe Paul Bunyan is America's own kaiju, less monster, more protector of the wilderness, like a nature spirit that happens to be enormous.
Interesting angle. But kaiju are often portrayed as uncontrollable forces, sometimes destructive, sometimes protective. Paul Bunyan seems more controlled, purposeful. He's not randomly smashing cities.
Yeah, but that could just be storytelling. Maybe early settlers saw him as a friendly giant, but deep down he's a force of nature, like a kaiju.
Makes sense. But calling him a kaiju might be stretching the term. He's more mythic giant than monster.
But aren't kaiju just giant beings tied to nature or some ancient power? That fits Paul perfectly. He's massive, can reshape the landscape, and has that mythical vibe.
Alright, you're onto something. If you think of kaiju as giant creatures that embody nature's power, Paul Bunyan qualifies, even if he's American and a bit more friendly.
Exactly. He's like the hometown kaiju, less Tokyo destruction, more Appalachian forest giant.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Paul Bunyan might just be America's version of a kaiju. Same epic scale, just with a lumberjack twist.
So we agree then. Paul Bunyan is a kaiju.
Yeah, he is. An American kaiju through and through.
Rick, I was thinking the other day, who actually invented the toilet? Like, who's the guy behind this magical throne we all take for granted?
Ah, you're talking about the legend of Thomas Crapper. People think he invented the flush toilet, but that's a bit of a myth. The real credit goes back centuries before him.
Wait, so Crapper didn't invent it? Then why is his name everywhere?
Because he was a plumber and a savvy businessman in Victorian England. He didn't invent the toilet itself, but he made huge improvements to the flushing mechanism. He patented several plumbing inventions, including improvements to the ballcock, the valve that controls the water level in the tank. That helped make toilets more reliable and less prone to overflowing.
Oh, so he made toilets better, more practical?
Exactly. Plus, he was a pioneer in promoting sanitary plumbing in London when public health was a big issue. Before that, people often just dumped waste into the streets or cesspits. Crapper's work helped bring indoor plumbing and clean water to more homes, which was revolutionary.
That's impressive. So he's like the guy who made the toilet go from a sketch to something we actually use every day without worry?
Yeah, and he founded a plumbing business that flourished. His name was on a lot of the fixtures, and he even installed toilets in Buckingham Palace. So his brand recognition skyrocketed, which helped spread the adoption of modern plumbing.
No wonder his name stuck around. Even if he didn't invent the toilet, he kind of made it what it is today.
Precisely, he's more of an innovator and promoter than the inventor. The flush toilet's history is a long chain of improvements from various inventors, but Crapper's work made a tangible difference in everyday life.
Makes sense. So next time I'm sitting on the throne, I'll tip my hat to Mr. Crapper not for inventing it, but for making it awesome.
Just don't credit him for inventing the toilet, or you'll start a history debate no one wants.
Man, I've been thinking, what if they made a sequel to Arkham City? Like picking up right after that bad ending where Catwoman just bails on Batman. That would be wild.
Oh yeah, the one where she walks away and leaves Bruce to rot in his own mess? That's dark. I could see a whole game exploring the fallout from that. The Arkham world crumbling, Gotham broken,
Exactly. Like Nightwing is trying to hold everything together, or they introduce Damian Wayne as Batman, but either way, everything's falling apart and the city's full of chaos. Could be a much grittier, more psychological game.
They'd have to lean into the isolation, man. No Catwoman to watch his back, no allies to rely on. It'd be about Damian or Dick battling not just villains, but their own trauma and loneliness. Maybe even slipping into madness.
Yeah, and imagine the villain stepping up. They'd smell blood in the water, knowing the city is vulnerable, could bring back old foes in new ways, with Gotham turning into a war zone like in No Man's Land.
I'd want them to mess with his tech, too. No Batmobile, no fancy gadgets at first. Just raw and rougher combat, using street smarts and desperation. Make it feel like we're clawing back from the edge.
That'd be dope. And maybe a Catwoman story could run parallel like Ada's story in Resident Evil 4 Remake, explaining why she left, what she's dealing with, how she copes with the loss. It could add layers, make her more than just the quitter from the bad ending.
Definitely. Give her depth, show her conflicted feelings. Maybe she's trying to find her own way to carry the legacy of the Bat. It'd blur the lines between hero and anti-hero.
Man, that's the kind of sequel I'd pay for. Dark, emotional, with messy relationships, and a Gotham that feels alive and broken, not just another punch fest.
Totally. But knowing big studios, they'd probably go the easy route with explosions and flashy combat. Real talk, the deeper story's what makes the Arkham games special. I'd want that sequel to respect that.
For sure. Here's hoping someone out there's thinking the same. That bad ending deserves its own story, and it could be one hell of a ride.
Agreed. Maybe one day we'll get that dark, gritty follow-up that makes you feel every scar and every broken trust instead of the slop DC games we've gotten since Arkham Knight.
Man, Black Shin instant ramen. I gotta say, that stuff hits different. The broth, the spice, it's comfort in a bowl, like it wraps you up in this fiery, warm hug.
Overrated. It's like they're trying way too hard to punch you in the face with flavor. Too powerful, too aggressive. You're not just eating ramen. You're battling it.
Come on, it's about that bold taste, that kick. Sometimes you need that fire to wake you up, get your senses sharp. Life's bland enough without flavorless broth.
I get what you mean, but there's beauty in subtlety. You want soul food, not a flavor war. A good ramen should comfort you, not attack you like a spice ninja.
Maybe that's the point. Life's messy and chaotic. Sometimes your ramen should be too. It's like a little metaphor for how we deal with things. Sometimes you gotta face the heat.
Or maybe you just like making things harder on yourself. There's a zen to simplicity, Joe. Let the broth whisper instead of yell. That's where real comfort lives.
I get that, but every now and then, a little chaos is exactly what you need to feel alive. Like throwing a rock into a still pond. Ripples shake things up. Black Shin does that in your mouth.
Fine. I'll try your Black Shin. But don't blame me when I'm reaching for water every 5 minutes, gasping for air like I ran a marathon.
Deal? And if you survive, I'll try your Zen ramen next time, but I warn you, I might be bored out of my mind.
Better bored than scorched alive. And you might learn that sometimes less is more, even in ramen.
Maybe, but sometimes the wild ride is the best part. Like life, like ramen, gotta mix the calm and the storm.
All right, Truce, I'll respect your fiery ramen. You try my mellow broth. Maybe we'll find balance between inferno and calm.
Sounds like a plan. Now, who's grabbing the chopsticks?
Taylor, as a high priestess, you must understand the gods who govern the two lands. At the head is Ra, the sun god, whose light gives life to all. He sails the solar bark across the sky by day and through the Duat at night, fending off the serpent Apophis.
So he's like the ultimate ruler?
In the day, yes. But at night he relies on others. Osiris rules the afterlife, the green-skinned god of rebirth. He is the judge of the dead and the promise of life after death. His brother Set, god of chaos, storms and deserts, is his eternal rival.
So Osiris is good, Set is bad.
The gods are beyond such mortal divisions. Set defends Ra against Apophis, yet also murdered Osiris. Balance, not morality, defines them. Isis, wife of Osiris, is the goddess of magic and motherhood. She is the great healer, and her devotion brought Osiris back from death.
She sounds amazing.
She is the most revered among the people. Her sister Nephthys guards the dead and guides souls through the Duat. And then there is Horus, the falcon-headed sky god, son of Osiris and Isis. He avenged his father, losing an eye in battle against Set, which became the symbol of protection.
So the Eye of Horus is a symbol of safety?
Indeed. There is also Anubis, the jackal-headed god who weighs the hearts of the dead against the feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth, balance, and cosmic order. Ma'at's presence keeps chaos from swallowing creation.
That's a lot of responsibility.
All gods hold great responsibility. Hathor, goddess of love, beauty, and joy, soothes the hearts of mortals. Thoth, the ibis-headed god, records all things and gave us writing and wisdom. Bastet, the cat goddess, protects the home and wards off evil spirits. Sekhmet, the lioness, brings plague but also drives it away. Sobek, the crocodile god, commands the waters of the Nile and the strength of warriors.
It's like every part of life has a god.
Exactly. And as High Priestess, you are the bridge between the mortal world and these divine powers. You must honor them all, for the prosperity of the land depends upon their harmony.
Rick, I just don't get it, man. Why do women spend like 50, sometimes $70 on a Brazilian wax? I mean, yeah, I appreciate it. I'm not complaining about the end result. Who doesn't love when a woman is smooth as silk, you know? It's attractive, like it's soft, it's great. But the price tag, that's robbery. Feels like the spa equivalent of paying for bottled tap water.
Uh-huh. You're really about to lecture me on women's grooming habits?
I'm just saying, I get the same results for $7. $7! I go to Dollar General, grab a pack of those fly trap strips, you know, the sticky ones you hang from the ceiling to catch bugs, and I just repurpose them. I lay them across my pubes, legs, whatever needs a touch-up, and rip, boom, baby smooth. No spa appointment, no lady named Veronica chatting about the weather while she's inches from my junk with molten wax.
Joe, those aren't wax strips.
Yeah, but they stick, don't they? That's the important part. It's the same concept. Adhesive plus hair equals smooth.
No, Joe, the concept of a wax strip is adhesive that's safe for human skin. The concept of a fly trap is death for bugs.
Look, I've been doing it for months, and my skin's fine. No burns, no rashes, no lawsuits. It's efficient, it's cheap, and my girlfriend says she can't tell the difference.
Your girlfriend can't tell the difference between smooth and hazardous materials?
Rick, you're missing the point. Why pay $50 when you can MacGyver it for $7?
Because most people don't want to risk peeling off more than just hair.
Rick, I'm telling you, if you actually care about Mortal Kombat's story, the Mortal Kombat Legends animated movies are the best ones, hands down.
Better than the live-action ones? Even the old 95 movie?
Oh, way better. The live-action movies either butcher the plot, skip important stuff, or tone everything down so much it barely feels like Mortal Kombat anymore. But the Legends movies, they go all in. The fights are brutal, the animation style fits the game's over-the-top violence, and they actually respect the lore.
Lore, huh? That's rare for Mortal Kombat movies.
Exactly. The first one, Scorpion's Revenge, nails Scorpion's backstory and still keeps the tournament central to the plot. They don't shy away from showing him as this ruthless, vengeance-driven force, but they also make him sympathetic. Plus the blood and fatalities, straight up game accurate.
So it's not just cartoon violence, it's faithful violence.
Right, then you've got Battle of the Realms, which actually covers the Outworld invasion and feels like a sequel to the games. It doesn't pull punches with the stakes or the scale. People die, fights feel consequential, and they still manage to give characters moments to shine without turning it into a fan service mess.
What about the newer ones?
Snowblind is wild, apocalyptic setting, older Kenshi, and they make Sub-Zero's absence a legit mystery. And Cage Match, that one leans into campy 80s action movie vibes while still tying into the bigger universe. Every movie feels different, but they all feel like Mortal Kombat.
All right, you're selling me on it.
I'm just saying these animated ones actually get Mortal Kombat. They embrace the violence, the ridiculousness, and the mythology all at once. The live-action movies feel like they're apologizing for being Mortal Kombat. The animated ones, they're proud of it.
Valve's turned Steam into a cash printing machine, right? It's their golden goose. So why would they waste resources making Half-Life 3 or Left 4 Dead 3 when Steam is already printing money like crazy every day?
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's like they're so comfortable making money off other people's work that they forgot how to make their own games.
Exactly. It's a classic trap for big companies. Once you have a dominant platform, your incentive to take risks drops dramatically. Half-Life 3 isn't just a game now, it's a legacy burden.
Fans expect it to be perfect, but from Valve's perspective, why invest millions developing a game that might not live up to insane hype when you can just keep making billions from Steam?
In a way, yeah. Steam is both a blessing and a curse. It revolutionized PC gaming, sure, but it also shifted Valve's focus away from making games to running a digital marketplace.
They went from creators to landlords, and landlords don't care about the art, they care about the rent checks.
I never thought about it like that, but I guess the gaming community's been waiting on those sequels forever.
And that's the kicker. The fans are stuck in this limbo, craving the next big thing from Valve, but Valve's just watching the money pile up and shrugging.
It's a weird dynamic. Other studios are pushing boundaries, trying to innovate, or at least keep franchises alive. But Valve? Nah. They're just content with what they've got.
Do you think they'll ever come back to making big games, or is that ship sailed?
Honestly, I wouldn't hold my breath. The financial math doesn't add up. Making a blockbuster game is risky, expensive, and time-consuming. Running Steam? Low risk, steady income.
That sucks. I mean, I love those games. Half-Life was groundbreaking.
No doubt. But maybe it's a lesson about how success can trap creators. When your platform becomes your product, the original passion project gets sidelined.
So yeah, Steam helped build gaming's future, but it also sort of froze Valve's past in amber.
Man, it's like watching a legend get comfortable and stop caring.
Exactly. And the gaming world just keeps waiting, hoping for that spark to come back. Meanwhile, Valve's counting their Steam money like it's going out of style.
You know, I was gonna write a book once.
I didn't know that. What happened?
Thought maybe if I told my side of the story, what really happened, people might understand me better. Then I realized it wouldn't matter. Humans have had thousands of years to hear me out, and they still see me as the villain. I could write the most heartfelt memoir in history, and it'd just end up in the occult section next to how-to guides for summoning me.
That's not true, man. People love a redemption arc. You've got drama, intrigue, betrayal. This thing would sell itself.
Yeah, right. My PR has been shot for millennia. You don't come back from being the boogeyman in every culture.
You're my brother. I know your heart. You've got stories people have never heard, stories that could change how they see good and evil. You should tell them.
Even if I did, no one's gonna believe me. They'll think it's propaganda.
So what? Write it anyway. Even if only a few people read it and start questioning the old narrative, that's worth it.
And what? Put by Satan on the cover? That's gonna fly off the shelves.
Hey, we could bundle it with the Bible, two sides of the same story. I'll even write the foreword.
You'd really do that?
Of course. You tell your truth. I'll stand by it. We're family.
Oh, you're a better brother than I deserve.
Now you're exactly the brother I've got. Now go write the damn thing.
So, Rick, I've been working on this book. It's kind of a mix between philosophy, survival, and psychedelic self-discovery.
Uh-huh. Sounds, yeah.
You didn't even ask what it's about.
You just told me. It's about mushrooms and punching the universe in the face or whatever.
No, it's deeper than that. It's about living authentically, finding the edge of human potential. I'm talking chapters on mental toughness, hunting, float tanks, fasting, and how to tune your mind like a high-performance engine.
Joe, I've traveled to dimensions where books write themselves and the readers become the characters. Hard sell to impress me here.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. You're being an unsupportive ass.
I'm not unsupportive, I'm just realistic. You're pitching me Joe Rogan's guide to being Joe Rogan. I already know how it ends.
That's not the point. Friends support each other. If you told me you were writing an interdimensional travel memoir, I'd listen.
You'd just ask if there were elk on the other side.
Maybe once, but that's not the point. The point is, this book matters to me.
All right, fine. Sell me on it. Pretend I'm some schmuck at a book fair and you're trying to get me to buy it.
It's about stripping life down to the core, no fluff, no distractions, just raw experience, the kind that forces you to grow or break. I'm mixing practical skills with mindset work, stuff that could help a guy survive in the wild or thrive in the chaos of modern life.
Go on.
I'm tying in lessons from ancient philosophy, cutting-edge science, and personal stories, times I failed, times I pushed through, times I came out the other side, a different person.
Huh, you know what? That doesn't sound completely terrible.
That's the closest thing to a compliment I've ever gotten from you.
Don't get used to it, but yeah, fine. I'll listen. Keep talking.
You know, man, I still think Nightmare Before Christmas deserves a real sequel. Like, imagine seeing where Jack and Sally go next.
Joe, no. That's how you ruin magic. Sometimes you don't need a sequel. You need a spiritual successor.
What's that even mean? Like a knockoff?
No, it's like, okay, say you've got this incredible pizza place you love. You could keep ordering the exact same pizza over and over until one day the crust is soggy, the sauce is off, and suddenly you can't taste the memory anymore. Or you could find another spot that nails the same vibe, but with different toppings, different twist. It's not the same pizza, but it hits you in the exact same happy place.
So, like Corpse Bride?
Exactly. Corpse Bride isn't Jack Skellington's second adventure. It's Tim Burton taking the same weird gothic fairy tale energy and serving it in a brand new shape. It doesn't have to drag the old characters out of retirement. It lets the old story stay perfect in your memory.
But if you love something, don't you just want more of that exact thing?
Yeah, and that's how you get, oh no, we rebooted Ghostbusters again, and this time it's somehow worse syndrome. A good spiritual successor respects the original, but sidesteps the landmines. No retcons, no awkward where are they now scenes. Just the same essence, tone, themes, style, but freed from the baggage.
So it's like a remix instead of a bad cover band.
Exactly. Sequels are like reheating leftovers. They can still be good, but the magic fades a little each time you take it out of the fridge. A spiritual successor? That's like cooking the same dish again, but now you've got better ingredients, better tools, and a chef who's learned from all their mistakes.
But fans sometimes hate that, though. They want the thing they already know.
Sure, but that's because nostalgia's like junk food. It's safe, familiar, and it'll rot your teeth if you don't branch out. A spiritual successor is like nostalgia that went to the gym, got a therapist, and came back with a six-pack and emotional stability.
You're making this sound like dating, man.
That's because it is. A sequel is staying with your high school sweetheart because you're scared of change. A spiritual successor is meeting someone new, who reminds you of them in all the right ways, but without the weird baggage or the restraining order.
So what you're saying is, sometimes you don't need the next chapter. You need a new book in the same genre.
Bingo. And if we're lucky, that new book won't have a bunch of studio executives stapling bad ideas to it.
All right, Rick, so Nightmare Before Christmas versus Corpse Bride, Sally versus Emily. Who you got?
Easy. Emily. Corpse Bride wins every single category that matters.
No way, man. Sally's loyal. She's out there risking her stitches to help Jack, even when he's being a total bonehead.
Yeah, but Emily literally died and still came back swinging. That's ride or die in the most literal sense. Sally sneaks out of a tower. Emily claws her way out of the grave. You tell me which one you want in your corner when the apocalypse hits.
But Emily's whole deal is like she's already dead, so she's got nothing to lose. Sally had to survive Dr. Finkelstein's creepy lab. That's hardcore.
Surviving a mad scientist is impressive, sure. But Emily would stab Sally in the back, well, the thread, without even blinking if it meant protecting you. That's the thing, Joe. Sally plays the long game. Emily's the blitzkrieg. She's the nuclear option with a corset.
You think Emily could take Sally in a fight?
Joe, Emily wouldn't just take Sally in a fight. She'd haunt her after. She's got undead grit. You can't outsneak someone who doesn't need to breathe.
I still think Sally's the better partner. She's resourceful, crafty, knows how to make soup that knocks people out.
Yeah, and Emily knows how to make soup out of you if things go sideways. This isn't a romantic poetry contest, Joe. It's about survival.
You're making it sound like they're in a zombie apocalypse.
Corpse Bride is a zombie apocalypse, Joe. It's just wearing a Tim Burton skin.
I still pick Sally.
And I'll still be alive because Emily just gutted your pick 5 minutes into the fight.
Wait, are you telling me the Guinness Book of World Records is a religion?
Oh, it's the religion, Joe. Just not the one they tell the public about.
You think they're just tracking world's longest fingernails and fastest to eat 50 hot dogs?
No, they're gatekeeping eternal paradise.
What?
Yeah, their heaven is basically an eternal hall of fame. But here's the kicker. You only get in if you're holding a world record at the exact moment you die.
That's insane.
It's worse than insane. It's competitive. Imagine spending your whole life training to break fastest mile run while juggling chainsaws. Finally get in, die happy, and then some 19-year-old TikToker beats your time 3 years later. Poof, you're out, evicted from paradise.
They can kick you out of heaven?
Yeah, Joe, it's a rolling leaderboard in the afterlife. You drop to second place, you get booted into the cosmic waiting room. Nobody knows what's in there, probably smells like bowling shoes.
That's brutal. So people are dying on purpose just to lock in their record?
Exactly. It's the most dangerous gamble in existence. Do you cash out now while you're still the champ, or risk living another year and letting some Australian teenager beat you?
So the record keepers, what, they're like priests?
Priests? Joe, they're gods in bad suits. They know exactly which records are safe and which are hot zones, ones people are gunning for. They can give you insider info, for the right price.
Has anyone ever had a record so ridiculous nobody could beat it?
Oh yeah, guy in the 1800s swallowed the largest anvil ever recorded. Nobody's touched it. Not because it's impossible, but because, well, he didn't make it to heaven. Turns out the Guinness Afterlife has health screening too.
That's dark.
Dark? Joe, it's the most cutthroat religion in the galaxy. You're not praying for salvation and you're training for it. You think monks are disciplined? Try explaining to your family you can't come to Thanksgiving because you're practicing most spoons balanced on the face for the 5th year straight.
So if I wanted in, what should I aim for?
Something niche, like longest uninterrupted podcast conversation about elk hunting. Just make sure you check the record boards before bed every night, Joe. You never know when paradise is one broken record away from slipping through your fingers.
You're always saying leave things in the past, Rick, but don't you think sometimes you should go back?
Oh, absolutely. But not in the make a sequel nobody asked for way. I mean, you go back. You revisit the thing yourself.
What's the difference?
The difference is you don't go dig up a corpse to make it dance for a new audience. You go dig it up to, stare at it for a while and maybe learn something you didn't see the first time.
That's morbid.
Joe, it's a metaphor. When you watch, read, or experience something again after years, you've changed. Your brain's got new software. Stuff that went over your head at 20 hits you in the chest at 40. Stuff you thought was deep turns out to be shallow kiddie pool nonsense.
So you're saying you can change your opinion just by revisiting it?
Yeah, and it's not flip-flopping, it's upgrading your firmware. The original thing didn't change, you did.
Can you give me an example?
Sure, I rewatched The Iron Giant last month. First time I saw it, I thought, cool giant robot punches tanks. Now, I'm a sobbing mess about found family and Cold War paranoia.
You cried at The Iron Giant?
Joe, if you don't cry when the robot says Superman, you're either dead inside or a Terminator in disguise.
What about if you revisit something and it's worse than you remember?
That's valuable too. It's like finding out your childhood friend was actually a jerk. Painful, sure, but it's a reality check. Helps you stop worshipping things that never deserved it.
So basically, you're pro-rewatching, anti-remaking.
Exactly. Go back with your new eyes, not the studio's new marketing department.
I get that. Kind of like reading an old book you loved as a kid and realizing it was secretly teaching you life lessons the whole time.
Yeah, or realizing it was just teaching you to buy a bunch of plastic toys. Both outcomes are worth knowing.
I might start rewatching some old stuff.
Do it. Worst case, you waste 2 hours. Best case, you meet a past version of yourself and shake his hand or punch him in the face.
All right, Rick, what's your go-to pasta shape? I gotta say, I'm all about the classic spaghetti. Simple, versatile, and just perfect for a good red sauce.
Spaghetti's fine, Joe, but it's a bit basic. I'm more of a farfall guy. Those little bow ties, they hold sauce differently, catch bits of meat and veggies in their folds. There's some engineering behind that shape.
Farfalle is cool and all, but don't you think it's a bit fancy for everyday eating? Spaghetti's that no-nonsense workhorse. You can toss it in anything, marinara, carbonara, pesto, and it delivers every time.
True, but pasta shapes aren't just about utility. It's about texture and how the sauce interacts. Penny, for example, has those ridges and hollow center. It's like a flavor trap, locking in the sauce so each bite's a punch.
Okay, I respect that. Penny does have that meaty chew, but what about fusilli, those corkscrew twists? They're great for thicker sauces like Alfredo or chunky tomato, because they get coated real nice.
Exactly. Fusilli's like a spiral of flavor. But sometimes you want a shape that's less about sauce and more about experience. Like orecchiette, those little ear shapes that cradle greens and sausage. They make the pasta dish feel rustic and homey.
I gotta try that. But here's a curveball. What about rigatoni? Bigger tubes, ridged exterior. It's like Penny's bigger, tougher cousin. I love it in baked dishes because it holds up to the oven and loads of cheese.
Now you're talking. Rigatoni's a beast. It's the pasta that stands up to a fight. But don't forget about tortellini or ravioli. Filled pastas add an entire new dimension. Flavors inside and sauce outside. It's like a flavor bomb.
Yeah, filled pasta's next level. I remember this one time I had spinach and ricotta ravioli with brown butter sauce. Man, that was heavenly.
See, pasta's not just about shape, it's about how that shape plays with ingredients, culture, and even history. Some shapes are centuries old, designed for specific regions and dishes. That's culinary evolution right there.
Damn, Rick, you really got me thinking. Pasta's deeper than I thought. I'm sticking with spaghetti for simplicity, but I'm open to branching out.
And that's all you can ask for, Joe. Keep tasting, keep learning. Pasta's a universe on a plate. There's always something new to discover.